Good morning, my tubies, my Teletubbies. This is Sheila Truelove, and I am, like I told you, pretty much devastated when it came to me finding out that the organization that I've been with practically damn near all my life, for decades and decades and decades and decades, um, I received this information. This is on the news. It's all over. It's on damn near so many news channels. What's getting ready to happen to the Watchtower organization of Jehovah's Witnesses? I had Bible studies and I have helped at least 5 to 7 people come into this organization, as they call it, and I'm just devastated. To find out that everything you believed in, it was corrupt. It's corrupt, Excuse me. I lost my daughter, my grandson, my granddaughter, my son-in-law, my brother to this, some people call it a cult. Call it what you want to. I feel that a cult is anytime you decide to leave an organization and they shun you, or they tell you to treat your family members like they're dead. That sounds kind of culty to me. What do you think? They tell you to treat your family members badly just because they decided to go to another Bible study group. You have to keep in mind that this organization have already admitted that they are not inspired by God. You can find that in their Watchtower study article of February 2017, where they finally admit they're not inspired and they're not infallible, meaning they make mistakes constantly. I keep thinking about how many people have died when it came to their teaching that you're not supposed to have organ transplants because that was a form of cannibalism, they taught us. Then they also say no blood transfusions, no blood fractions, not even blood fractions. And then they changed up. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a new light now. Meanwhile, over 33,000 people have died, family members. And then they sit here and use Proverbs chapter 4 to try to justify a new light. And when you read Proverbs chapter 4, it has nothing to do with changing your teachings, flip-flopping back and forth. Proverbs chapter 4, its meaning is those who live righteously, their path will get lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter. And those who live unrighteously, their path will lead to darkness. Now, where on earth do you see anything that's saying that's the reason why we change our teachings? Oh, come on. It's just not, no. So someone sent me this. I wasn't going out looking or whatever, but you could just go on Google and type in Daily News and Jehovah's Witnesses. Type in Newsweek. Now we know Newsweek is a very well-respected magazine. Newsweek and Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's just too much information out here. And it's overwhelming for me, Sheila Truelove, because to have everything you believed in, and now it's just too much for me. It's too much. Like I said, I was sitting in my office. I've been crying and crying my eyes out and bawling. I know I've been making videos and making it seem like everything is A-okay with Sheila, but this is devastating. It's traumatizing. And I had to step back just for a minute from the organization because I have to readjust my thinking, because this is crazy. Anyway, listen to this, my tubies.
My name is Erwin Zalkin, IRWIN, I'm with the Zalkin Law Firm. We are out of San Diego and New York. Our firm has represented survivors of childhood sexual abuse over the last 20 years. We've represented hundreds of survivors. To my right is Ross Leonidakis. Ross is an attorney with the law firm Nix Patterson. The spelling of the last name is Leon. OUD as in David, AKIS. That firm is notorious right now. They just got a $38 million judgment in a case out of Montana involving sexual abuse of a Jehovah's Witness child.
Okay, that's just one of the lawsuits that they have going. They've already won another lawsuit, $35 million. Now they got this one going for $38 million. Then they already had some people winning. They're winning lawsuits left and right. Okay? And these attorneys here, they're not what they call Jehovah's Witnesses say apostates. Apostate, if you look it up, it means a person who has changed their political or their religious belief. That's all it means. But the Jehovah's Witnesses are don't talk to apostates. But they're hypocritical because they talk to people who used to be a Catholic. They used to be a Baptist. They changed their religious belief to come over to the Watchtower people. That's an apostate. They changed their religious belief. But they find nothing wrong with talking to these people, hanging out with these people, partying, whatever the hell they do with those apostates. Because in the organization, apostate means anyone who's telling lies against the organization. But people are not telling lies. People are telling the truth, and they have the evidence to back it up from the organization's very own literature. Their very own literature is what's really busting them up. Now they're sitting around trying to get rid of all their old literature. They're trying to get rid of it, but you could always still get a lot of the literature off of eBay. They have a lot of the Jehovah's Witness old literature on eBay, and then you have people who have been in this organization for 40, 50, 60, all their life, and they still have all of that old literature, and they're posting it all over YouTube to prove it that this came from your teachings, is it not? And don't give me this garbage about no new light. People are sick of hearing that nonsense because that's not what Proverbs chapter 4 it means. Their interpretation, totally wrong. A lot of things that they interpret is wrong because I started to do my own research. Like 1 John chapter 4 tells you, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 tell you to keep on testing, keep on looking into things to make sure that it's in harmony with Jesus Christ's teaching. That's what Jesus is telling us to do, to look into things. What does the organization tell you to do? Don't look into anything. They don't want you to know anything. Now, if you go onto their JW.org, whatever, and they have an area where it has news, the latest news, you'll never find stuff like this on their news sites because they're trying to hide things from people. They don't want anybody to know the truth about this organization. Also, go to JW Facts, JWFACTS.com, and then you're going to learn the facts about everything. Anyway, let's continue.
We've called this press conference today to announce that we filed yet another lawsuit against the Jehovah's Witnesses, and in particular against the governing body of the Jehovah's Witnesses. These 8 gentlemen that run the entire world organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, make the policies for the Jehovah's Witnesses, dictate all of the practices of the Jehovah's Witnesses and their elders, their congregation elders. Their elders, their construct is a little bit different than other Christian denominations. They have kingdom halls, not churches. They have a body of elders that operate similar to a priest. They have ministerial servants that operate similar to what a deacon might be. And all of the instructions and operations come from the very top. So we're suing the organization, various levels of the organization, as well as the top 8 guys called the governing body. Now, for years, we have been pursuing litigation against Jehovah's Witnesses because they have a pervasive and a severe problem of child sexual abuse within that organization that they've been covering up for decades. Early on, we discovered that they maintain a database of known child molesters within the organization that dates back decades. We have received court orders for them to produce those documents, those molestation files, which they have refused to do. This has gone all the way up to the California Supreme Court and back, and they still refuse to obey court orders to produce these documents in a form that they can be used and be understood, so we can see the level of knowledge that this institution has had about abusers within their organization and the cover-up that's been going on for decades of known molesters. I'm going to give you just a...
Now, my question is, they have been ordered by several courts to give up this database. They have a hidden database that have a list of thousands and thousands of pedophiles within the organization. Why wouldn't you just give that up to the authorities? Because, you know, they do believe that you're supposed to follow Caesar's law and follow the law. Why are they hiding this database so, you know, intensely? If you have nothing to hide, then you don't hide things. Am I correct? I'm trying to understand what's the problem here. So I'm saying, could it be that some of the names on that database are some of the people who are a part of the governing body, and that's why they refuse to give it up? Because you got to wonder, what's the problem? How dare you? They go by this 2-witness rule. This is their, how you say, justification for not recommending that parents or children or anyone who has been molested, you're supposed to take that to the authorities immediately. They say no, they don't encourage that. They encourage that you take it to the elders, and the elders will take it to the Judicial Committee of the Jehovah Witness, and they will discuss it then. You rape my daughter, you rape my child, you hurt anyone in my family, I'm going straight to the authorities, and the hell with you. How about that, huh? But you know what would happen to me if I did that and they found out? I would be shunned. Shunned means that no one would invite me any place anymore. People would say hi to you somewhat, but they'd be like, hi, unless you're disfellowshipped. If you're disfellowshipped, no one's allowed to talk to you. You have to sit in the back some goddamn where. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be like coming to these meetings every Sunday, every Tuesday or Thursday, whatever. I'm coming here to be treated poorly. I don't think so. And I'm supposed to be sitting in the house of God. No. You know, so they sit here and they say that, no, we do encourage that you go to the authorities. We don't discourage that. But the reality, you go ahead and bring it to the authorities without going to them first. And watch what's going to happen to you. You'll either be disfellowshipped, where your family is instructed to treat you like you're dead. That's right. They're not allowed to talk to you unless it's business. Now tell me, Jesus Christ, show me somewhere in the Bible where Jesus Christ treated people this way. Please, leave your comments. Show me some scriptures somewhere. Now I know that they have 1 Corinthians chapter 5 that they use for their shunning, treating people badly, unlovingly. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 5. If a person do this. Now, I understand people have got to take accountability for their behavior. People have got to be responsible for their behavior. And I understand to some degree. But to totally just treat people badly? No. And one thing about this is that they use 1 Corinthians chapter 5, but they never take time to go to read 2 Corinthians. When Paul said in 2 Corinthians, what was written in 1 Corinthians, Paul admitted he was being too harsh. That was too harsh. If they take the time to go to 2 Corinthians and read up on that. And even in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, you know, they may have had 5 or 6 things where you can, you know, kind of not be so close to a person. Distance yourself. Okay? That's 5 or 6 things. Within this organization, you know what? How many they have? 141 rules of why you should shun a person, treat them like they're dead, totally destroy your family. And if you're married, they're going to try to destroy that too. Okay? 141 reasons. If you look at that Shepherding the Flock book, which that Shepherding the Flock book, they don't want nobody to have it but the elders. They told the elders, don't let your wife get her hand on it, especially not the wife. Don't let anybody else see this book. Why? What are you doing? How do you associate that with Jesus Christ's teachings? Can you at least show me some scriptures? That's all people are doing. They're asking questions. And the moment you start asking questions or you start looking into things and you say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this. I really don't. You're being shunned, babe. They mark you. Mark means, look out for that one. That one may be a potential apostate. That could be apostate. Apostate alert. Apostate alert. Are we serious? I'm so sad that I raised my children this way. Both of my children are very successful. My daughter's a registered nurse. My son is a social worker, counselor, psychiatrist. You name it, he does it. They both have careers. I raised them in this organization. My mom raised me since I was 8 years old in this organization. Now, 75% of what they teach is garbage. But they do have 25% that's worth hanging on to. I got to give it to them. They help me with public speaking. They help me get over nonsense, caring about what people think. I really don't care. Even though my daughter, she hasn't gotten past that. She needs this constant validation. What is validation? Validation means I need your approval. I need you to approve that. Tell me that whatever, man. She's a mess. But we're going through something right now, and I'm praying to Jehovah every day. Her brother is praying for her. I'm praying for her. My daughter's strong. I know this girl's got to wake up somewhere down the line, but she's raised her children in this. So it's like a third generation, fourth generation, whatever. Anyway, this is crazy. But anyway, this is going to be part 2 of how narcissists hide behind religion. Now, tell me, yes or no, Tubies, would you say that this governing body definitely narcissistic? You can't even become a part of the governing body unless you're psychopathic, narcissistic, or freaking what is that other one? Psychopath, narcissistic. There's another one. Because there's no way you're going to tell me busting up families, destroying marriages, causing thousands of people's death. That's not narcissistic. Are you kidding me? And they actually could sleep at night? Now I understand why they had that, I forget his name, he was caught in the liquor store on a Sunday when he should have been at a meeting. No, he was in the liquor store purchasing 8 bottles, big bottles, expensive bottles of whiskey and liquor. This is one of the governing body, mind you. And people caught him on camera and he was caught talking to somebody. You see his face right there. So he can't lie and say, oh no, that wasn't me. He was in a trench coat and he had a cap on his head trying to hide, but you recognize his face and you recognize his voice. You're in a liquor store purchasing alcohol, which is nothing wrong with drinking because Jesus Christ drank. No problem. As long as you don't get drunk and you're not a drunkard. However, this is a time on a Sunday when you should have either been out in the ministry, field service, or you should have been at your he's in Bethel. Bethel, they have their morning text, their morning, I've been to Bethel. I've done the Bethel thing. Okay? And I know how Bethel operates. And I'm just so, I can't even find a word. I'm just so, I'm just hurting right now.
Little example. In Australia, the government there just conducted an investigation and released a report in 2017 that showed that they had discovered among a population of 67,000 Jehovah's Witnesses that there were 1,800 children molested and 1,000 molesters. Now extrapolate that to the United States, where there's about 1.5 million Jehovah's Witnesses and some 14,000 congregations. You can do the math yourself to get an idea of the scale of this problem. And they do have what I refer to as a crisis of silence in the organization. They're extremely secretive. They keep themselves insulated from the outside world. They view the outside world as being impacted by Satan, not to be trusted, that the institutions of the outside...
And that part of what he's saying is correct. They say that you're not allowed to associate with worldly people. Now, we'll go to school with worldly people. We will work with worldly people. But when it comes to after work, you know how sometimes your friends after work, you want to go out. Let's go out and have dinner. Let's go out for a movie. Let's go out for drinks. No, because they're considered worldly. What about in school? Your kids are not allowed to join the sporting thing. Let's say he wants to do sports. Sports is good. You know, keeps kids out of trouble, keeps kids off of drugs. It gives them some, no, I'm sorry, they're worldly, and they want you to isolate yourself from the world because they're considered to be bad association. Which, let's just think about this for a moment. There's some validity to this, because let's think about it. If you have a child and you love your child, you don't want your kid hanging out with a heroin addict. You don't want your child hanging out with somebody who's a drug addict or somebody who drinks like crazy or some female who's promiscuous. She sleeps around. She's known as the town whore. You don't want your children hanging out with that or associating with that. But you're not going to have your child totally don't talk to the person ever again or whatever. You might have your child try to encourage the person, that's maybe not a good look. I don't see drug usage as something that's super cool. In fact, I think it's a loser's game. Actually, it is. So we get it. How you're going to try to protect your children. Because even people who are not, religious, they still want to protect their children, understandably. At the same time, why can't your children associate with other Christians who may be of another denomination, but they do Christian things? They may have like a nice sports, for the kids who are in church. And the group, they have after church, they have the guys get together because men, they like activity. They need that. They got testosterone. They got to get that workout. So you have your kid join the football team, or you have him join the chess club. How about that? Even chess, that's mild. Or you have your kid join baseball or basketball. After school, they have somewhere to go. They have something to look. No, not with Jehovah's Witnesses, because if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, you're not allowed to associate with other Christians. And when I say other Christian children, I'm talking about children who really, you have so many young people out here. Oh man, they have so many channels. Check out this one when you get a chance, my tubies. His name is Carlos de Jesus. Or DeJesus. They can say DeJesus, whatever. Potato, tomato, tomato. Say it the way you want to. At the same time, that's a young man. Now, why would do you think I want my child to hang out with him? He's not a Jehovah's Witness. I would always want my son to hang out with somebody like him. I want my kids to grow up to be like him. And check out Alan Parr. Okay? Alan Parr. He's not no Watchtower witness. He's decent. There's a lot of decent people who are out here who do not have to be a part of this organization. They check out Alan Parr and Carlos de Jesus, and check out Robert Blake. And my girl, Joyce Myers, loving her. And check out that woman, I forget her name. She played in the movie called War Room. Priscilla Shirer. Do you think I want my children hanging out with someone like these people? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I want my children to become like them. Become a pastor. Open your own ministry. Have your own church. Hell yeah. I'm full support. I'm getting beside myself. I'm in full support of that. These are people who are on Jesus Christ's team. And Jehovah. I never overlook my Heavenly Father, Jehovah, because thanks to Jehovah, that's how we have Jesus. And people with the Trinity thing, I don't have time for that, but that's another topic. Now, God and Jesus, no, Jesus is not God. He's a God, just like Satan is a God, but with a small g. Okay, Jesus is a God, but he's not the almighty God. Jesus Christ has a father. A father. But that's another topic. Anyway, let's go back.
The world are governed by Caesar's law, and that if they have any issues, any problems, they need to go to their elders. And everything is kept within the organization. And that is the big problem. And that's why children are getting molested, and these are going unreported, these molestations, despite the fact that in most states, they are mandated reporters under the law as clergy. They don't report. Now they'll tell you, oh, we don't discourage people from reporting. We even encourage people to report. But the reality is that people won't report because they're indoctrinated that they are not to bring reproach against Jehovah. They don't go to the outside.
I like that point that he brought out just now. They'll sit here and say, no, we encourage people. No, you don't. They'll sit there and say it, but like he said, the reality of it is, if you do it that way, you will be shunned or marked. Nobody's going to start, you're going to notice that nobody invites you anywhere. People are going to just see you in a meeting. Hi, how you doing? They don't have too much to say to you. And then you know what? You say, who gives a damn? Who cares? Thank Jehovah God for that app called Meetup. Because Meetup is not for dating. Meetup, I have other people that I could do things with. I don't have to sit in my house like they want you. They want you to sit in your house, isolate yourself, sit there and be bored out of your fucking, be bored out of your mind. They want you to sit there in total, utter depression, which is why you have so many who have committed suicide after losing their family. Their marriages are all messed up. The relationships that they've had, they've committed suicide. Go online and check out Jehovah's Witnesses and suicide and take a look at that. Do your research. Just like Jesus told you, Jehovah told you, do your research. That's what Jehovah's telling you to do. Who are you going to listen to, a governing body or Jesus Christ? Which one? Because with these Jehovah's Witnesses, they have made the governing body, they turned the governing body into Jesus. They have turned the governing body and made them their Jehovah, their Jesus. That's ridiculous. And I like that word, indoctrinated. Indoctrinated means they're constantly drumming the same thing in your head. That's why they want you to only read their literature. Their literature, they constantly got you on this, on Thursday, your Bible reading, you got this to study, you got this, indoctrinated. It's called shoving it in your head, pushing it in your head. They don't encourage critical thinking or analyzing anything. Oh no. Don't you dare have a mind of your own. How dare you? No. We'll do the thinking for you, okay? And don't question us, not too much. You'll give me a question, they'll give you an answer, and you're supposed to just let it go at that. Let them have the last word. Because after they gave you the answer, and you say, you know what, I'm sorry, but I don't see it that way. This is the way, and then you give them another way that you see it. Oh no, that's it. You're going to be marked. You're going to be shunned. Oh God, oh please. Indoctrinated. That's why when you go to their meetings, they teach the same old thing over and over. I know the kids are bored out of their mind. You have a lot of kids right now, the teenagers, they sit in these assemblies and they be texting each other back and forth. They be texting, God, this is boring. I'm so sick of this nonsense. You have a lot of the young ones, they go out into the ministry, knocking at doors, ringing bells. They pretend like they rung the bell. They would like press right above the bell and pretend like they rung the bell. They're not ringing no goddamn bell. This is just I'm holding my face right now. This is unreal.
Authorities, because they're taught not to trust outside authorities. Why would you go to law enforcement when you can go to the righteous elders and they will take care of the problem? The problem is they don't do that. In the case before you, we have our client, Kevin Ramirez, who is a very brave young man who's come forward publicly using his name. He's not a Doe. He's not hiding behind a Doe designation. He's here with the courage to use his own name and to go public with this lawsuit because he wants the world to understand what has happened to him and what is happening to other children within the Jehovah's Witnesses. Kevin was born in 1993. By the time he was 6 years old in 1999, he came under the wing of an elder in the San Dimas Spanish congregation of the Jehovah's Witnesses here in LA County, a man by the name of Humberto Ramirez, not related, who became his mentor, became his Bible study teacher. The children are taught that they are to obey and trust the elders above all, which he did. And soon after that relationship developed, Humberto started to groom Kevin into performing sexual acts with Humberto. And that grooming involved telling Kevin that, you know, Kevin, these are the things you have to do because this is what will get you into a paradise ever after. The Jehovah's Witnesses believe in an end of days, and if you live in their world and what they call the truth, and you remain clean within the truth, you will...
That's another thing I want to address. Them using this terminology called this is the truth. Yeah, how long is this going to be the truth this time? Because, every 3 to 5 years, oops, we got a new light, even though you're not inspired. So again, I say, where are you getting this new light again? I'm sorry. I'm at a loss. Okay, I better not ask that. I'm sorry. How dare me use my brain to think? How dare me? I'm sorry, but the truth, is it the truth today? But will it be the truth next year? Will it be the truth tomorrow even? The truth is always the truth. You know? I don't know. How dare me? Oh my God, I'm going to be shunned. Oh my God. OMG.
Live in a paradise on earth ever after. And a 6-year-old child whose family is indoctrinated in that belief will trust that if he doesn't obey, then that's not going to happen. And that's what happened to Kevin. He was abused for a period of 6 years. I'm sorry, from the ages of 6 to 8. In 2001, when he was 8 years old, he told his parents, he reported this, and other kids. What happened was they started having a conversation with other kids that he knew Humberto was hanging around with, and then they started talking and they started comparing what was happening to each other, and then he told his parents. They went to the elders. The elders conducted what they call a judicial committee, a tribunal, and they disfellowshipped Humberto, which is sort of the equivalent of an excommunication, but he can be reinstated if he applies later. But they didn't go to the police. No one told the police. And as a result, this young man has never really received the justice he deserves. He suffered a lot in his life, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what he's gone through as a result of this, of the sexual abuse that he experienced. And the purpose of this lawsuit really is to get him the justice he deserves through the civil justice system. That's all that we have left now, and we're going to do the best to get that for him. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add it takes a lot of courage to do what Kevin's doing here today, and Kevin will tell you he hopes that by speaking up and bringing this to the public's attention, he not only will bring recognition to what's happening within the Jehovah's Witnesses, but encourage others to speak up, because it's not easy.
Okay, Tubies, this is going to be part 2. I will have a part 3. If you want to hear Kevin's testimony, let's go to part 3. You always have a choice. Please choose wisely. I love you. And like I said, I'm just totally PTSD right now. I am definitely traumatized. I know I sound like I'm okay, but to be honest with you, Sheila True Love, not so okay. Am I going to get through this? Of course I am. Because life is all about perception. You know, it's what you tell yourself. You know, I tell myself, you know, this has happened to me. It's an experience. I've learned from it. But I too will get past this. I will, with the help of Jehovah God and Jesus Christ. I'm going to get past this. I'm just hoping that I can help my family. You know, my daughter is, like I said, I gave her too much credit because I thought she was stronger than what she is, and she's not. At the same time, let's keep it real. Come on. She was raised by me. She was raised by her grandma, my mom, Betty. Yeah. My daughter's going to come out of this. She's going to wake up. I think she's hanging with it because it's like a protection for her. It helps her to keep her husband, whatever, in place or whatever the hell. And she has something where she can bring him back to his senses by just using this Jehovah Witness teaching, whatever. It's like a protection thing for her. This is what I'm guessing at. And then she has her kids that she raised in this all their life. And now all of a sudden, I have to sit my kids down and tell them, children, guess what? Yeah, mom's not perfect. No. And there's, you know, some things that I've taught you and I've raised you with, and it has proven to be not 100%. It's just not 100%. You know what I mean? So I think we need to sit down. And I mean, you have to insist. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to reevaluate things. Let's just reevaluate a whole lot of things. That just takes what? One day out of your life to keep the kids home from school. You stay home from work. No work today. Husband, he's out at work some goddamn where. And you sit down with your children, and you're going to have to tell them certain things. And then you give them time to digest it. This is going to freak them out. Or they're going to be happy as hell. They'll be like, thank God. I was wondering when you was going to wake up, Mom. But anyway, it's one or the other. But she's going to be okay. I'm definitely sure about my daughter's going to land on her feet. And I pray every day for Jehovah God through Jesus Christ to reunite my family. And may we be stronger than we've ever been. And may nothing or no one ever be able to come between us or divide us. We're going to be amazing. That's what I keep in my prayers. So I keep a positive perspective. And like I said, my tubies, I need all the prayers that I can get. So please pray for me. I love you. And until next time, we'll talk again. Don't forget, part 3 is coming. Okay? I love you.